The biggest city in Western Europe, London, is an amazing tourist destination, and for the next 3 days, we're going to be showing you around the best things you can do in this city and some hidden gems, so stick around. We just arrived in London at King's Cross Station, and the first thing we're gonna do is check out platform 9 3/4. So far the train station is looking exactly like what it does in Harry Potter. You can also take a photo of yourself walking into platform 9 3/4 like this, but then you're gonna have to wait in a really big line, so just decide if it's worth it. We just got out of the station, and right away we have the notorious London rain. Right beside King's Cross is the British Library, and you have a wide variety of things you can do. They have an exhibition where you can see Leonardo da Vinci's old notebooks that he used, and you can also see lots of stuff about Shakespeare's play. So it's just a really cool place to walk around right beside the station. About a 10-minute walk away from the British Library is the British Museum. This museum has a really nice ceiling, and it has a lot of British history, some Egyptian history, just a lot of cool history around the world. I could teach you how to speak my language. Rosetta Stone. So the Rosetta Stone was used to decipher Egyptian hieroglyphics because the stone was written in Demotic, hieroglyphic, and Greek. It was discovered in 1799, and that's when it was used to understand Egyptian hieroglyphics.
They have a really nice memorial for Ukraine with a Pisanka and some Ukrainian artifacts to bring awareness about what's going on right now in Ukraine. It's really lovely.
And you can definitely spend a whole day here. Like, there's so many cool artifacts that you can look at and really discover a lot of things that you wouldn't have known about before, and I really recommend this museum. We just had a fish and chips meal at the Plough. Very great place to get fish and chips. The meal size, like the size of the fish, is much bigger than you have in Canada or US. A free thing that's really cool to check out is the Skygraden. It's located in the center of the city, and you get a free ticket. You have to get it about 3 weeks in advance, and it takes you to the top of a rooftop garden where you just walk around. There's like a restaurant, a bar there, and you just look at the views of London.
You have a viewpoint of every single corner of London. You see literally everything around you. It's amazing.
Alright, this is our friend Will from London, and he's gonna tell you about the bar scene.
Oh yeah, no, so the bar scene's pretty sick, mate. So what we do is just have a pint, or we do an old Stella, it's all really nice, and we, just down in a couple of minutes. And play a bit of ping pong if we can, but really the nature of it is to as much down as possible, son. So anyone coming in here, you're a proper geezer, you'll be alright. Come down, more than welcome, London City.
Alright, well, if you understood that, enjoy. Alright, so we didn't do too much for night one. Still pretty tired from our flight, but that's the end of the first day. We'll be back again for tomorrow.
All right, so it's day 2 of London, and today we're doing a big walk around the city.
Alright, so if you're coming to London and you're gonna be using the public transit, I definitely recommend getting an Oyster Card. You can buy these at every tube station for £5. It's better than using cash because cash is double the price, and using the Oyster Card can get you on the tube, the buses, and the boats. From Piccadilly Circus, walk down Piccadilly Street, and there's a bunch of cool little shops and places you can go just to look around. Those are really nice tea shops, bookshop. And then you're also gonna turn left at Green Park, which is gonna take you to Buckingham Palace, which is the next stop. So now it's 11 a.m. and we're here just in time at Buckingham Palace for changing of the guards, which happens at 11 a.m. daily. But there are already such big crowds here. There's some sort of run going on today, so the changing of the guards, which was supposed to happen at 11, is not happening now. Not too long of a walk from Buckingham Palace is Trafalgar Square, and you can go into the National Gallery, free entry because all museums are free in London. And then the square itself is really nice. You got some nice fountains, and you also have a really cool view of Big Ben. Not too long of a walk takes you to Westminster Abbey, which is where the royal family has their weddings. And then after, you just cross the Westminster Bridge and you see Big Ben and the London Eye. If you want to get really nice photos of Big Ben, come just under the tower to this spot right here. It has great photos. And then if you go under that tunnel, you get right to the London Eye, and tickets for the London Eye are £36 per person. So from London Eye, we went to a little market and got some bananas for 10 pence each. And now we're just waiting for the 381 bus to head to our next stop. So get off the 381 bus at Lavington Street and then walk north from there to head towards the river where you're gonna find Shakespeare's Globe. Also right beside Millennium Bridge where Shakespeare's Globe is, there's these really cool guys who write poems. This bridge reminds me of that one scene in Harry Potter where they're just all fighting here. Once you cross the Millennium Bridge and you get to St. Paul's Cathedral, turn right to go to One New Change, which is a mall, and it has a really nice viewpoint of spots around the city, and you also get nice viewing of St. Paul's Cathedral. So from One New Change Mall, we walked to the Monument to the Fire of London, and you can go on top of it for £5 and you get this amazing view of London. So the Great Fire began in a baker's house in Pudding Lane, and it started on September 2nd, 1666, and it took 3 days to finally extinguish it on September 5th. Every building was burnt down except for the ones that were made of stone, and the monument itself was built between 1671 and 1677. Now we're walking across the London Bridge to get to Borough Market.
And guess what? It's not falling down.
Now we're at Borough Market and they serve a lot of hot food, cold food, just ready food. Borough Market dates back to the 12th century, but it was newly renovated to look like what it looks like today in 1850. We ended up getting
Pork shoulder sandwich
from the Black Pig and an apple crumble from
Humble Crumble.
short walk away from the Tower Bridge is a really nice area called St. Catherine's Dock. They have a bunch of cool restaurants. Feels like you're in a Shakespeare play, and you can just go around to a bunch of the restaurants here and just have a good time. Near the Tower Bridge, you can head to the Tower of London. It doesn't look like a tower now, but it was built almost 1,000 years ago, so it was definitely a tower from back then.
Inside the tower, they actually have the crown jewels, so the crown that the Queen wears, which holds the largest diamond ever found.
After our big long walk, we headed out to Soho area. It's basically where all the pubs and bars are. It's a great place for going out at night. Leicester Square also has a bunch of casinos that look really cool. In the end, we ended up choosing Flight Club, which has a few locations around London. There's a really cool dart bar, so a bunch of different type of mini games you can try, and you can also get some drinks here.
Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing my way, or the highway. And in the
So that's the end of our night, and I gotta say it was pretty successful. I had a lot of fun.
So here we ended up ordering the mighty English breakfast for both of us, which comes with sausage, hash brown, black pudding, beans, eggs, bacon, just a lot of things, and it's honestly really good. We got a tea too. Very good meal. So the English breakfast was invented in the 13th century, and it was invented so that whenever guests would visit, it would give them a chance to show their wealth and the quality of meats and ingredients they had, and also it gave them a chance to show off their cooking skills, which is why it's such a big plate and it's a big meal. So from breakfast, we took the tube to Greenwich Park. Now we're walking around Greenwich Park and we're gonna see the Royal Observatory, and also the Prime Meridian is here. Prime Meridian is the line that separates the eastern and western hemisphere, and everything is measured east and west of this line. Before this line was chosen, most towns around the world kept their own local time. So each town would have their own beginning and end of the day, and the length of their hours were different, and some didn't even have hours at all. So to get into the observatory, it cost £10 for students, 16 for adults. So we didn't feel like paying that, so we made our own line right here. Greenwich is pretty out of the way if you're coming from London, so I wouldn't really recommend coming here unless you have a ticket to the observatory or you have a lot of time. We just went back to our hostel, and now we're renting bikes for the day from our hostel. But another way you can do it is using Santander bikes, which are the London city bikes, and it costs £2 per bike, and you get free use for 30 minutes, and then you can give it back, and then you can use another 30 minutes for free, or every extra 30 minutes you use is an extra £2.
never break, always fight, never quit, do it right.
Keep in mind that when you're biking, it's opposite sides from basically most other countries.
I could change in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win at life.
So a little update on the biking. It's actually a lot easier than we thought it would be. You just stay on the left side, and if you ever bike in a downtown city anywhere else, it's similar to that.
I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but
now we're just biking around Hyde Park, and this whole park was once the hunting ground of Henry VIII.
How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
After biking around a bit in Hyde Park and Paddington, We ended up going to Burlock for drinks. The vibe in there is pretty chill. It's just a nice, cool little bar. Katya, did you like your drink?
I loved it.
So every Tuesday is 50% off drinks there. All right, so what's the coolest thing in London? You have 5 seconds to answer. 5, 4.
Big Ben.
Big Ben. It looks really nice.
It looks so good in person. The details and just like how it looks, it's unreal.
Yeah, get nice photos there. Everything is nice there. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guess the next spot we're going to, I'll give you a shout out in the next video. Please like this video because it'll help me out a lot, and subscribe to see the next destination. I'll see you again in the next one.